Hello and welcome back everybody to Moneyball. It has been a pretty up and down time off of camera. We have in recent times had the following results. As you can see, it started off pretty well after the last episode ended up until about that point there. And then a few bad results, a few bad losses in the league afterwards, which has left us in the following position. It leaves us pretty much middle of the table. With, if we were to play the next 3 games and go undefeated with like 2 wins and a draw, we could easily be up and around the playoffs. If we were to go the next 3 games with 2 losses and a draw, we could be right down there. So it's very much up for grabs right now in how things are looking. I'll just get myself out of the way here so you can see the whole table below us as well. So that is how things look as it currently stands. We're not really learning too much just yet, but I thought we'd come back together in October, so give you an update on how things have started early on. We can watch a game together here. We're going to watch the Walsall game together now, and if we'd have won the Harrogate game a second ago, we'd be on 15 points, which is right behind the playoffs, so it's really close still. But we need to start winning some matches. We're going to watch the Walsall game. We'll skip a few. Maybe we come back for the Mansfield game in November, maybe the Leyton Orient game, and then we'll come back for a December game, maybe the Burton game, going straight into then the January transfer window. We'll do that together here. I mean, I don't know how much I want to really change because the squad I feel like is really there, or it's really close to being there. On paper anyway. And the only real change we're going to see is potentially Aaron Pierre here. His contract's up at the end of the season. And of all the players that have got their contracts up, he's not really playing. And we could get 40 grand for him now. I just feel like that I'd rather take 40 grand for him now. If we do bring in players, it's not going to be too many. So I'm thinking we go potentially 1 centre-back, maybe 1 striker again, because the strikers have really struggled to score. And I don't know, maybe midfield player. 1 defender, 1 midfield player, 1 forward. That's how I'm sort of looking at the January transfer window because I thought the squad's there. The team, again, isn't scoring very much, as you might have seen looking at here a second ago. If we were to sort it by goals scored, I guess we're quite mid-table, actually. We've scored 11, conceded 14. In fact, yeah, we're actually one of the worst defensive teams looking at this. So centre-back is definitely going to be on the cards. And I would say maybe a central field player. Woodyard hasn't played as much. Bannigan's recently got injured, so until Bannigan was injured, we were doing pretty well. In fact, what I'm going to do here, let's put the win ratio into this view as well. So if you go to Stats General, you can put a game win ratio into your custom views. We'll just scroll that across there. So if we just look at this, just sort it by... So if we look at Marias here, he played 3 games at the start of the season, scored 2, got 1 assist. We won 2 of the 3. And he got bloody injured, and he's been injured ever since, which is a shame. So it shows that he's quite effective for us. Firth played in some backup games, but you can see here, quite interestingly, if you look at sample size, look at the amount of games they've played as well. Funny enough, Jamie McDonough's not played that many. I'm not quite sure. Well, I guess Ali Coote's played wide, and so has Lancaster. Maybe with Ali Coote and those lads, do we then go back to like a 4-2-3-1, having Ali Coote as a 10 behind a striker with 2 good wide players? That might be the better option now. I've taken a bit of individual training for certain players. For example, if I've got like 2 right backs and I want one of them to be able to play left back a little bit, I'll make sure that they're learning to play left back. So I don't really touch training, but if it's to make somebody play an extra position that they should be learning to play, I'll do it. Ali Q, I've just put him on central midfield as well because I think in a flat 4-4-2 he could potentially play in the middle. And then we could get all 3 of them into the team that way, right? And we could then potentially sell somebody like George Marsh, who just isn't really required in that circumstance. So that's how things are currently looking anyway. That's your sort of update on how things have gone so far. I guess let's watch a game together. Let's watch the Walsall game together. Let's see how we get on. Hopefully the team can go on this run here because they are looking pretty good. Like, the squad looks pretty good to me. The lack of goals from the strikers and the team overall conceding so many goals is both a problem. Maybe a goalkeeper we look at as well. But let's get into this game against Walsall. Let's see how we get on and see what we think. Walsall are currently towards the bottom of the league. If we were to lose this game or struggle in this game, that would be a slight concern for me. But let's see how we get on. Here we go then, that is your team for today. It's going to be Sanev in goal with Curry, McKellen, Callenby, King across the back, Coote, Woodyard, O'Neill, Lancaster in the middle, McManus and Davidson up front. Corner for Wimbledon, near post, headed towards goal, and it's going to go in, and Callenby gets his header and he scores the goal to make it 1-0 from a set piece. Curry scores back a little bit, McManus goes through one-on-one, surely, go through, penalty! Corner goal, set piece. Penalty, set piece, but we'll take it if it's 2-0 going into, well, not even anywhere near half-time yet, but Lancaster takes it. Lancaster scores. That is 2. Walsall with the throw. They throw it into the box. It's going to be headed away. Second part of this attack is going to start now. We've got everybody back. Both strikers are putting pressure on. Good little tackle there made by the striker. They're going to get a chance anyway, though. McKellen's heads on, and maybe they don't. We win it here. That's a shocking pass, and we nearly conceded. Luckily, we don't, and it stays 2-0. Yeah, we are winning this game, but I don't feel like we are really playing that well. We've scored 2 goals that are quite fortunate. Yes, I mean, that is football. These things happen, right? But they've had a couple of good chances. We've not really created too much, and we've got away with it a bit. But it's really hard. You can't judge things on a one-off game, right? It's after this game, do we then go on to sustain 2 or 3 wins in a row? Then if we do, this game doesn't matter. That's football. If we win this game from these methods, then we lose at home to a half-decent side, and we look just as bad in possession, then there's probably an issue that we need to look at. And this game we've just got away with, basically. So it's really hard to tell on a one-off game which one of those two it really is. We'll have to find out in the next one, I guess, really, and the next couple. We're probably going to go on to... I mean, unless they score from this highlight, I would expect us to win this game just because we're 2 goals ahead. Well, they've got a chance. Big tackle goes in. We're not going to get there. It's going to be their highlight. Just a case of, are they going to score from it? Whipped into the middle, headed towards goal, hits the bar, cleared away. I mean, the XG is dead even now. It's dead even, and we got a penalty to inflate ours massively. So that's a really poor performance in possession from us. But, a win's a win. We'll take it. Well, let's see. Like I said, let's see what happens in the next few matches and see if it catapults us into a good run of form. But 2-0 win. We'll take it. Not impressed, though. I guess is the way we'll sort of sum that up. But, okay. I will see you then in about a month's time. We'll come back for, I think, the Mansfield game. So that's going to be another few games into the season here. And then maybe we'll come back for the Burton. And maybe tell you what, let's go Leyton Orient. Let's try and keep it closer together. Let's go Leyton Orient, then Leyton Orient to Burton. Let's do that. We'll do those 2 matches together and see how it all comes out. So I'll see you in a few weeks for Leyton Orient game. We did get through to the League Cup 3rd round, which was good for money. And it looks like we'll probably get through our group as well in Papa John. So financially, that's good for us, which is always a good thing to get more money into the club. So I'll see you in a few weeks for the game against Leyton Orient. And let's see if we can hopefully be in, or at least around, the playoffs. Okay, there's been a pretty decisive set of results that's going to determine the outcome of the season. Are we near the playoffs, or are we about to sack the manager? And the answer is, we are near the playoffs, so it's been a really good set of results for us. Only 3 points off the playoffs now. Really good turnaround from the boys and the manager. Good stuff to see. Pretty good run. Obviously, actually lost and drew the last 2 matches there, but apart from that, really good, solid few results there. Not scoring too many, but it is what it is at this point. Watch this game together and see how the boys do. One bit of bad news. Jamie McDonough is out with a fractured lower leg, 3 to 4 months, so really bad news. The only thing that cushions that is the fact that the manager wasn't playing him anyway. He was going with Lancaster and Coote as his 2 starters, and now Junior Marias is back, and hopefully Junior Marias can play on the wing for us in a few matches. I hope he doesn't play Ben Tilney there just because he can play there a little bit. That would be... Oh my God, is he teaching him to play there? I hope he doesn't play him there. Can I just double check this? Last league match, who did he play? He played Tilney left back, actually, by the looks of it. But McDonough was back fit for that game. Okay, well, I guess we'll find out together in this game against Leyton Orient. Yeah, not too much to bring to you then, apart from that. Just a quick update on that. Things looking good. Aaron Pierre has definitely confirmed his departure from the club in January, which will... I mean, if they're going to put some nonsense player in the squad, let's just put Ray Hollingsworth into the first team squad, because he's a good youngster, is Collinsworth, and it'd be good to see him actually get some game time. It'd be quite funny to see him play this early on in his career, young centre-back. I mean, the youth coaches absolutely love... Well, before Ray Hollingsworth was up there, they had Luke Ross at, really improving highly. And he's worth a lot of money, so could potentially be a player that we cash in on at some point. He could also play on the wing. I could promote him. I think he's just not going to be anywhere near good enough to play, so I'm going to leave him for now, but we could push him up if we really needed to. Okay, let's say the boys get on against Leyton Orient, who are in the playoffs. So if we beat Leyton Orient, we'll go 2 points behind them specifically. We've got a game in hand on a few of the sides ahead of us as well, so exciting stuff. Let's see how we get on against Leyton Orient. Your team is going to be Tazaneb in goal with Curry, McKellen, Kalambai, and King at the back. Coote, Woodyard, O'Neill, Lancaster in the middle, and then McManus and Davison up front. First highlight of the game goes to Coote. McKellen plays it long up to Davison, flicks it onto McManus. He's going to get there. He does, then he doesn't. Leyton Orient play it long. That should be ours all day, please, boys. Nope, didn't get there. Didn't get there. Could be a highlight for them now from this. I mean, we should be able to win the ball there, I think. It's pretty poor from us. Yet again, they can now retain the ball from the back. Play it to the left-hand side. Whipping across at this point. Nice little through ball there. Cut back. Going to be a chance cleared away. 0 chances created so far, which isn't good. Davison gets it. Plays it back to King. Whips in a cross. McManus doesn't quite get there. Davison heads it down. It's a bit of a pinball exercise down in the final third. It's getting calamitous over here. O'Neill's going to just whip it in the box. O'Neill, just be done with this. Here it comes. Here it comes. Lancaster, King, Coote shoots. Oh, and it's gone in. And finally, we get one of those going in our favour. Coote gets the finish. Keeper doesn't quite save it. Goes in. 1-0 to Wimbledon. See, I do get the feeling, though, watching this team, that really... Oh, what a save that is from the goalkeeper. Round of applause. First time he's done anything good for us on camera. Yeah, I do get the feeling that we're just not playing very well. We don't create many chances from our tactic. Maybe, I'm not sure. Maybe it's this sort of tactic that he uses along with League 2 level players. The combination makes it a bit too direct. It doesn't quite work as well as it could do at higher levels, maybe. Oh, it's a penalty. We'll take that. Pass interference. A defense. Number 17 there at left back for Leyton Orient. Lancaster shoots. He scores. That is 2-0. Owen with the free kick. Oh, and he makes it 3. What a free kick that is. One of the first Moneyball signings that the club scores makes it 3. That is going to put us very, very close to the playoffs. But fair play to the boys. They've done well. They've sort of finally got to where I think we all thought they should be. Because being in 8th or 9th at this point of the season, that can still be a team. What a goal that is. That can still be a team that goes on to finish in the playoffs. It could be a team that finishes mid-table or gets promoted. But at this stage of the season, we're on track where we need to be because it's a good platform to springboard from. I mean, if we just pause that there for a second, we are only 5 points behind automatic places and we're only 6 points off of first, off of top, right? So it's really, really close. It's hard to tell too much about where this is going. I think our lack of chance creation and our ability to concede so many goals means that we're going to be on the lower end of this. So we're going to be looking at a lower playoff position or finish just outside. But you never know. We'll see how things go. And that's 3-2. And that could make things very, very close for the end of this match. Courtney Baker Richardson is on as a sub, which is probably required. He probably should start more matches. I don't know why he doesn't start him. He's the one that scored all the goals in League 2 last year. If this is 3-3, I tell you what, all that positivity is just gone because all that, we're only this many points off the playoffs is gone. 3-0 potential throwaway here. I think it might be a goal as well. Oh, it's deflected and hit the post. We get away with it. Another highlight later on. Ramsey just sends it into no man's land. It's going to be potentially a highlight for them. They're going to start off with the ball. Later on, roll it out from the back. Here we go. The tension's there. Woodyard. Richardson into Lancaster. Is he going to put the ball in? He does. It's going to be cleared away. That's got to be ours all day. Is Marsh playing centre-back? Hang on. Marsh is playing centre-back and... No, Tilney's there. So Marsh and Ramsey are playing at the centre-back position together. That is absolutely shocking. If it works, who cares? Headed, hit the post. It's going to be offside. Lancaster. Gary O'Neill into Courtney Baker Richardson. Lancaster again on the right-hand side. Cuts back. Oh, it's headed away. Are we going to get caught on the counter? We might do. We've gone steaming out from defence. Oh, no. Oh, no. It is 3-3. Wimbledon have absolutely thrown away a 3-0 lead. It's 3-3, and those are the kind of games, manager, that get you sacked if we don't finish in the playoffs. So, finishes 3-3. I was so positive going into halftime 3-0 up, and there you go. I'm not happy with that at all. But he's got time to turn this into a positive, basically. If it's just a one-off game and we end up still on a pretty good run going into the Burton game and we get ourselves in the playoffs, it doesn't matter. If that triggers, now if we lose here, draw here, lose here, and we fall away, it's that kind of result. And the things that went before that kind of result... Conceding too many goals, not creating enough chances either. That's a recipe for disaster, right? So we need to look at the analysis on that, look at the stats, and see if we need to make a change at manager. We might need to. We might not. We'll have to see. Let's see how we get on. Let's not make any decisions yet. Let's wait to the next part of the episode when we get to the Burton game, and let's see where we're at. But right now, that puts us currently 4 points off the playoffs. Still in a pretty good position, but that should have been a slightly better position. So we must be up there with the worst defensive record now. Actually, just even that a little bit, but... Okay, I'll see you in a few weeks' time for the game against Burton. Okay, welcome back. What a difference a month makes. Christ alive. It was a terrible, terrible run off camera. We are now 11 points off the playoffs. Terrible run. Defeats left, right, and centre. I'm really annoyed at the lack of results. I nearly stopped it. I can see, when I'm holidaying, I can see as the games are going on where our position in the league table changes and stuff, right? So I can sort of keep track. If I'm holidaying multiple matches, I can keep track. I nearly stopped it around here just to sack him, the manager, but because I thought we're going to lose our chance here. And I thought, no, let's see it out. Let's come back together just as we go into January, and let's look at it together. I don't think there needs too much of a deep dive on the stats analysis on this, right? The fact is we have the third worst defensive record in the league, and we're outside the playoffs in terms of our in-possession attacking records. I mean, team detailed average possession were 11th, which isn't that bad for a 4-4-2, I guess. But if we were to look at non-expected goals, we are 11th. Non-expected goals per 90, 11th. If we look at that out of possession as well, expected goals against 16th. I mean, I just don't feel like we're doing anything that well at all, considering we've got a pretty good team, I think, for this league. There are multiple players in this team who last year were in a playoff team in League 2. So, I don't know. I'm a bit annoyed with how things have gone, to be honest with you. disappointed and annoyed with how the team has done. So I'm going to make the decision to remove Kevin Keane from his position as manager. Thank you for your services, Kevin, but you are no longer required at the football club. Okay, in terms of who the new manager is going to be, I think we're going to hire a caretaker manager just until we find somebody that we're really happy with. Now, Michael Phillips, I hired as the under-18s assistant manager in the summer. He's got a preferred formation of 4-4-2, passing stuff. He's got a playing style of passing and tactical style gegenpress. So he's similar in tactical style to the previous manager, but he's got a different playing style. So I think we give Michael Phillips the job as the manager just for now, while we do recruit a new manager for the next few matches. I guess let's give him 3 matches. Let's see how he gets on against Harrogate, Wrexham and Walsall, and let's just see how he does. And we can decide the manager later on in the window. But yeah, that's going to be your new manager just for the temporary basis here. Okay, given the 3 matches, he got 2 draws and then a 1-0 defeat. No goals scored in any of the matches. So, yeah, I guess we're going to look for somebody else. Okay, I've narrowed it down to 3 potential members of staff here to be our new manager. We have got Jermaine Defoe, Darren Pearce, Jonathan Worthington. Let's go through these one by one. Jermaine Defoe, let's sort them by age, actually. Let's go oldest to youngest. Let's go Darren Pearce first. Darren Pearce plays the 4-4-2, playing style is standard, tactical style is controlled possession. Looks pretty good. He's a former player that's been a coach for quite a long time. He's been an under-18s manager and a 23s and 21s manager. And the caretaker manager at Cardiff as well. So he could be a really good option for us, I think. One of my favourites, I think, for the job. Jermaine Defoe is really good. 4-4-2, control possession, passing again, which is all looking pretty good. His first coaching job currently at Tottenham. We're 2 years in now to the compared to when he started his first coaching job. So it's potentially a option for us as well. It would obviously be a very big signing for us. Very popular player in England, of course. And then Jonathan Worthington as well, who was a low league player. Again, then has been a manager, under 18s, 23s manager for a while. So I think so at this stage, we want to go either Worthington or Pearce. I just think that Jermaine Defoe's wages are quite high as well. I just think that's not quite in our realm yet, so I'm going to remove him from the consideration, and it comes down to these 2 here. Darren Pearce has already got his pro license. Worthington is still doing his coaching badge, so he could still improve a bit as a coach, etc., right? So, but he's got vertical tiki-taka, right? So there's vertical tiki-taka versus control possession. I just think that, and he's also got passing playing style. Vertical tiki-taka is good. I've always wanted control possession of 4-4-2. I've always felt like that's the 2 things we want, playing style standard. I think that's the safest bet to go for. But the only difference between this and the previous manager is the fact instead of gegenpress, it's now control possession. That could be quite a significant difference in how he sets up his team to play in terms of instructions and stuff, right? Jonathan Worthington has got both playing style, passing, and vertical tiki-taka. So I think he's the most radical change, would be Worthington. I think he'd give us a completely different way of playing. He'd probably play out from the back. And so from goal kicks, we'd play short. I feel like he'd be the most notable difference maker when we watch matches, because the team should play completely differently. Whereas I feel like Pearce won't as much. Huddersfield are League One, Cardiff a Championship, but they're in relegation zone. I think we go Worthington. I think he's going to give us the biggest difference for now in a 4-4-2. We'll give him at the end of the season. We'll say that it's basically a 1.5-year contract, gets to the end of the season plus 1 more year. But we could potentially move off him at the end of the season if we don't think it's going to work. So let's go Jonathan Worthington. Welcome to the club, Jonathan. He's still doing his coaching badges. He should still improve as a coach as well. I think this is a good choice. Do let me know what you think, what you would have done out of those 3 options, particularly these 2, because these 2 I think are the most realistic ones for us. So Jonathan Worthington comes in. Welcome to the club. Okay, we are back Moneyball searching here in the giant transfer window. So we've got our manager in. So what we're going to do is we're going to do what we did last January. So we're going to take my best performing player in each position, and then we're going to take one team that are currently in the playoffs. We're going to take one of their players as well. I feel like that got us a pretty good set of players in last January, despite the fact it didn't change results that much. It kept us up, I suppose. Let's do that again, just see what happens with it. So we're going to look for centre-backs here and see how this goes. Let's get all this done here. So tackling ratio, the top player is the playoff team. The bottom one is ours. I guess easier to see that way, the fact that the player that's playing for the better team or better performing team is one at the top. So they've got 73, but we've got 70. So let's split the difference. Let's go to 72. Tackles per 90, 1 and a 0. So that's fine. That one could just stay there. Key tackles per 90, that one can stay. Interceptions per 90, we've got 2.5. They've got 4. Let's go 3 as a minimum. So that'll be an improvement on our current player. 29 and a 23, so we'll go to definitely to 23 then for that. Okay, so 4 players have actually appeared for us in the list. And this is interesting, actually. Let's sort them by value. So Andy Smith here is a write-off because he only had 1 start, 1 appearance. From a sample size perspective, he's out. Luke Offord, I think we saw him last year. He looks like a really good bit of business potentially here. Plays for Crew in League 2, which is our league, of course. Crew are currently 16th, just below us. I mean, how much do they want for him? They want a lot of money for him. We've got a lot of money to spend, but I mean, I don't really like spending over 100 grand really on players in this league. We have Toby here. Toby Amoli. He has got tackle win ratio of 79%. That's above what we've got. Header one ratio of 77. That's in line with our better player and better than ours. Possessions 120, slightly lower. That's why it didn't appear a second ago. Deception is 3.27. Looks pretty good, doesn't it, across the board there? How much do they... Is it Crawley? Crawley. I thought it was a Crew again for a second. We're obviously not going to sign all these players. We're just going to try and get one if we can. Okay, so for fullback, we actually have 4 really good options here, both on the right and the left-hand side. We've already got Oggy here, who's played centre-back most of the season, but can play left-back as well. Oh, no, sorry, Oggy has played left-back most of the season, so, in fact, he looks like a really good option for left-back, but we've already turned somebody down because they were going to cost too much. In terms of the most cost-effective players, it's going to be these 2 players here, Max Melbourne, who plays for Morecambe, and Junior here plays for Colchester. Both look really, really good. What I'm impressed with Junior is he's got 5.17 dribbles per 90. That's incredible. How much are you going to cost me, Junior? A lot. Yeah, that's a shame. It's a shame. We've got some really good options there, though. Basically, what I guess we'll have to look at, this guy's quite cheap, actually, Max Melbourne, is that if ultimately we decide that improving a fullback is going to be the difference maker for us to try and get promoted, we can make these decisions. I mean, Max Melbourne should probably come in because our current backup left back's not really good enough anyway. So I think that him coming in and challenging for a first place spot in the team might be really good. Instead of Ben Tilney, who obviously isn't quite as good. We knew it was cost-effective signing really for us. So if we can make an improvement there now, maybe that is the time to do so. Or we can look to sell Curry again. Depends, however we feel it's the best way to proceed. But it could be a really good player to come in. But I really want to get signed Junior. We're going to put all these lads on the shortlist here. Cameron Green as well from Stevenage looking pretty good. He'll go on the shortlist as well. And again, just some good options there for us to look at. Maybe towards the back end of the window, if we decide the fullback is the position we want to improve on. That was a pretty productive set of players there. Okay, so after looking at central midfield players, what's quite interesting is the similarities between the 2 players. Open play key passes are quite similar. They both make a very similar, I guess, passes completed per 90. It was pretty close. Dribbles per 90 are both pretty low. That's a similarity between our player and the team in the playoffs player. So it's quite interesting that. Let's have a look through. We didn't quite get the player that we needed from the initial search. We have to do some creative thinking around some of these stats here. Okay, we've got a young player called Isaac Bird who plays in the Northern Irish League. He has pretty good stats across the board. The one thing that I took off was, you see how in the stats here, how I think it's tackles per 90. Both of them are 2.10, 2.01. So the minimum was set to 2. So anybody that was on like 1.99 wasn't showing, which is pretty harsh considering they are right there. It's really close. So if they had all the other stats, but they were like 0.02 less on tackles per 90 than our player, they weren't going to show. So I've removed that, so it's going to show those players. So that's why some of these players are now showing. Isaac Bird looks like a really good young option. Not going to be worth much at all. He's going to play that if we could bring him in and replace him with George Marsh and sell George Marsh on for some money, that'd be a really good bit of business for us there. Brad Walker here playing for Tranmere looks really good as well. He's got all the stats we're looking for. Again, I think it's tackles per 90 is the reason why he didn't show a second ago, but he's got everything else and then some. Looks really good option. Brad Walker, hopefully we can bring you in, mate. That'll be a nice signing for us. Faisal Batache here at the top. He looks really good. He's going to be worth a bit too much, I think. But we're shortlisting for now, but he's probably going to be worth too much. But going into next season, he might be an option. When's his contract up? Is his contract up at the end of the year? No. We'll put him on the shortlist, but he's not really going to be a good option because he's never really going to be within our price range. But we could technically spend probably quite a bit of money, but for now, it's a no. Okay, nobody ended up coming up in the first set of searches. What's interesting with our best winger and their best winger is dribbles per 90 are both above 4, which is quite high. Okay, Ryan Barnett playing in the National League. Looks pretty good. He's the only player really from the National League that I've seen. There's another one there, actually. Tom Allen, who looks okay, actually, from his stats as well. But I was seeing at Brian first because his dribbles per 90 is good. His cross completion is above what we're looking for as well. Sprints per 90 slightly lower. Open play key passes per 90 is above. Chances created per 90 is way above ours, much lower than the playoff team though. Progressive passes per 90 is splitting the difference. Shot on target ratio is just below. Conversion ratio is much higher than theirs, a little bit lower than ours. But he looks pretty good. There's Ryan Barnett almost across the boards. And I don't know how good of a winger we need, but he looks pretty good to me. And if we can get him for like 20 odd grand, okay, maybe not. We'll try 50. So we get him 50, but it looks like he could be pretty good Strength in depth wide player. Okay, that's going to do wingers. We found a couple there to look at potentially going forwards, but really, we've still got Hakeem Adelakun on the shortlist, who I still do like. It's just a case of his wages. If he wants to take less wages now, I'll definitely bring him in as well, but that's another option for us. Again, there. So, okay, I'll see you in a few seconds. We will then go through strikers for our last search. I don't know how much room there really is for a striker. We'd have to probably sell one, but let's see what we can get anyway. Actually, do you know what? I've changed my mind on the striker, and the reason is that I feel like that the strikers that we've got, we spent so much time going through our Moneyball stats that those players are proven goal scorers in and around this division. So I actually don't think I'm going to look at strikers. The manager's going to deal with what he's got for the rest of the season, unless we can sell somebody, because I'm not bringing anybody else in to add to this. Junior Marias is really a striker. He's been brought in as a striker in a two-man strike force, and he scored a few goals at the start. We've got 4. Like, that's more than enough. That's more than enough for a coach to have. Even if I could find a striker, it would mean that one of those would have to leave. And not just get him off the wage, we'll probably have to get some money for them, whoever it is, right? So, as far as I'm concerned, we've invested into these players, and they've got to be able to come up with the good scientifically in terms of the stats at some point. And I think they will, given the right opportunities. So, let's go with what we've got. Let's skip through a couple of matches. I'll do some negotiations now. I'll probably skip the Morecambe game. We'll come back for the Dagenham game, and I'll see what we'll see what deals we've been able to do, and if there's any players we've needed to remove to facilitate some of these transfers. Okay, so we brought in some players in the January transfer. We brought in Joe Thompson, who was a central field player on the shortlist from basically previous searches, not from this one. We brought in Toby Amoli, who's one of the centre-backs we just looked at, comes in for a total of £200,000 just underneath that. Really good centre-back for this level of football. And then Ryan Barnett comes in as a winger from the league below to come and be a sort of rotational winger for us. I'm going to teach him to play on the left-hand side as well, so he can sort of do both roles for us there. So those are your 3 players in. Players out, we have sold Aaron Pierre. George Marsh has gone on a free. The reason George Marsh went is he was on like 1,400 a week, and it was getting to the point where we couldn't buy anybody. We couldn't bring anybody into the club because we were at the max for the FFP in terms of wages. We couldn't spend any more wages, so I had to get rid of him, and I had to release Woodyard as well, which I didn't really want to do. I didn't really want to release him at all, but I had to do it because he was on like 1,600-700 a week. He was on a lot of money, and he wasn't playing. So, now we've got 3 central field players who are all really, really decent players. So we'll see how they get on together. Like, I don't know whether I should be giving the new manager boost a little bit, because I feel like that when we change managers, the game isn't recognizing it's a new manager, so they're playing differently. We're not really getting any boost with anything. So, if I show the selection info here, the morale is still pretty low, despite the fact it's like a new manager, etc., etc. So I think that's what we're going to do, right? What I'm going to do is what I said originally. So how this is going to work is simply this. When we get a new manager from now on, we're going to roll a virtual dice. If we roll a 1, we're actually going to make the morale slightly worse. The manager's come in, he's rubbed some people up the wrong way, it's not worked. We score a 1 and we lower it to, I guess, whatever the worst player is in the team, we put everybody down to that, something like that, right? If we roll a 2, nothing happens. He's come in, he's already had an impact, nobody's really responded to him, nothing's really happened, everything stays exactly the same if we roll a 2. If we roll a 3, everybody goes to neutral. So he's come in, he's had a bit of an impact, nothing too special, just things aren't as bad as they were before, right? That's a 3. If we get a 4, 5, or 6, we improve the morale based on what the number is. So, for example, when we go to change the morale in the editor here, I think if the manager's coming into a losing position, I don't think we can ever say they should be in the top 3 of perfect, exceptional, superb. I don't think those 3 should even be an option, but we'll look at excellent is the absolute best one we can get. So what's going to happen is simply this. If we roll a 4, everybody goes to very good. If we roll a 5, players will go to extremely good. If we roll a 6, they go to excellent. That's how we're going to do the new manager bounce. We're going to use roll of a dice to sort of simulate how things can go in life. Different things can happen, right? You can have a manager with the best of intentions, says the wrong thing to a player, rubs somebody the wrong way. Before you know it, he's had a terrible start to things, right? So that's how we're going to go. So very good, extremely good, excellent is the best we can do in terms of when we roll the dice. We've still got a few players that are on good. They're not too far off of the higher ends of the goods. So I think that makes sense to me. That gives me a chance for it to work. Otherwise, it's just not really doing anything, changing the manager. And I think they're getting hamstrung by the previous morale of the previous manager, really, and what he's done with the team. In terms of the game mechanics, I don't think it works the way that we're currently doing. I think this will work better. So we're going to do this right now together. For the first time, we're going to roll the virtual dice, and let's see what we can get. We just don't want to score a 1. And the higher the better, really, of course. So let's have a look and see how we get on with the virtual dice. Okay, here we go then. The first virtual roll of the dice in our Moneyball series. What's it going to be? What are we going to get with our new manager? And it's going to be a 4. Okay, so pretty positive. Not the best, not the worst. That's good. I'll take a 4. A 4 is good. So just to recap, 1 would have been lower everybody to the lowest possible morale in our squads. 2 would have been no change. 3 would have been put everybody to neutral. 4 is the worst of the good options, I guess. Then 5 would have been extremely good, and then 6 would have been excellent. So what we're going to do now is change your morale to very good. We'll do that right now. So he's now to very good morale. So he's come out with a bit of an impact. That's what we'll do from now on. Every time we have a new manager, we'll do that. So there we are. Okay, brilliant. We've got our new players in. The players feeling better. The coach staff's feeling better. The manager's feeling better. Now let's see if we can get a little bounce. We're going to play Crawley next. We're going to watch this game together. That's how we're going to finish the episode. We're going to play Crawley after a terrible bloody run of results yet again. So we'll play this game, see how we get on. Come on, AFC Wimbledon. Here we go then. First game with the new manager and the new manager bounce. Let's see if it's going to make an impact. And the new players, of course. This is the first game with our new players, which is going to be really interesting for us. We'll just recap the team here in a second. And so your team is going to be Sanev in goal, Curry, McKelland, Callum by Ramsey at the back. He's not playing the new centre back I just spent 200 grand on. He's not even playing him. What is going on? Coote, Bannigan, O'Neill, Lancaster, Moraes, Davison at front. So the two first team players that I bought in this transfer window, he's not even starting. So there you are. Absolutely zero highlights so far. Still maintaining our form of being terrible in possession. I'm pretty sure Lancaster is left-footed. So, I mean, the manager's playing inverted wingers. He's playing players on each side. I don't really know why he's doing that, but okay, first proper highlight of the game so far. Crawley get the ball. They play a ball into the middle here. They're going to have a chance to build an attack. They get on the left-hand side. They cut inside. They're going to get a shot away. Luckily, the goalkeeper saves and it stays 0-0. Well, the highlight continues here, straight from playing out from the back. And you could see there maybe the new philosophy being introduced with the goalkeeper rolling it instantly to the defenders. Coote gets it. Cuts inside, loses the ball. They absolutely get rid of it. Send it. Don't want any of this. And we're going to go back the other way with Curry. McKelland into O'Neill. Takes a touch into Lancaster. He's got options. Got a little look at this underlap here from the right back. Doesn't use him. Says, no, I've got this, lads. Don't worry. Crosses it. Davison. Ramsey. Penalty for AFC Wimbledon. We'll take this. It's going to be a penalty. Again, it's not the most creative of games from us in possession. O'Neill's going to take it, though, and he's going to score. It's going to go 1-0 to the boys in blue. Yeah, it's unfortunately going to likely be a write-off season in terms of promotion. We're just not going to be able to get there, I don't think. But we're in a good position for next season, I think. The squad, again, is better. It's much better again. It's looking in a really healthy position. We've got a manager that's going to be interesting to see how he gets on. We'll check the possession after this game. Obviously, we're only watching key highlights. We can't see the entire game, but it looks like we're dominating them pretty well. Just going off of how the game, how the play restarts when it goes to our goalkeeper. We must be dominating the possession, I would have thought. Coote goes wide. He's going to cut inside now. Almost loses it. Carries on. Beautiful little jinking run. I mean, I'm not sure we needed to go back to the centre-back there. Apparently we do. And all's well that ends well if that's a goal. But is he offside? He's offside, isn't he? Yeah. And there you have it. Finishes 1-0 to Wimbledon. I mean, the goal was from a penalty. We can't really take too much credit for that. That was... But the new signings have made a difference. They managed to get themselves a win and give us a bit of breathing space, thinking that maybe we aren't going to fall straight into that relegation fight. I mean, we'd have to win almost every game to go up in the playoffs now. That's how far we've set ourselves back, right, in that terrible run. To have won only one league game from the 4th, or actually the 1st of November until the 30th of January, there was only one league win up until that game. So... terrible. Absolutely shocking stuff. But that's going to do it. That's going to conclude the episode. Really good episode again. We showed some really great, I think, creativity in who we're going to identify, who we brought in. The club's in a good position, a really healthy financial position. We've still got 900 grand in the bank. Projection still to be good. And we're looking pretty good all round. We've got a couple of youngsters in the first team squad now, and Ray Hollingsworth and Luke Ross. But they're both playing for the under-18s. But if they're required for the first team, they'll be there. They'll be available, but hopefully not too often at the moment anyway. But yeah, that is going to do it. So we finish off with a win in today's episode after a long and extensive recruitment process there for players and for a new manager on top of everything else. So that is going to do it. Next episode, we'll come back. I'll see how we're going. To be honest, if it looks like it's going to be a dead season where we're not going to go up, we're not going to go down, it is just going to be what it is. We'll probably join back end of the season because I don't think there's any point in coming before that. If there's a chance we might end up in a playoff late race or a late relegation race, we'll come back early, we'll discuss things, etc. But from now to the end of the season, there shouldn't be a change of manager. there shouldn't really be too much going on. So let's just see what happens, and we'll get back together at the end of the season, go through everything, and progress from there. But that is going to do the episode. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you to all of you for reaching out in the comment section on YouTube, on Twitter, etc. That really does mean a lot, and it makes these kind of series much more enjoyable to do, and it reminds me to keep going with these things and make sure that we get these videos out. So do keep it going. I really appreciate it, and it helps the channel. Every time you leave a comment, you like a comment, you like the video, anytime you do anything like that, it all helps the channel. That's your way of supporting the channel if you can, if you feel so inclined to do so. But that's going to do it. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you all, of course, next time.